We might be on. Nobody panic. We're in. Look at me figuring it out. I think. Yeah, we're on. Let's go. What an intro. The boys weren't sure if they're live. We're doing it live. Welcome to F1000. We're trying something new. We are pre-race. We're live on YouTube. We're doing it live. No edits, no cuts. Right before. We want to be part of your pre-race build-up. How you doing this morning, Mike? A little bit of technical issues. Yeah, you were sweating. You were listening. I'm clicking every button under the blue sky this morning. We figured it out. We're on. All right. Imola Grand Prix. Mike, the McLarens. They're real. They're here. They're upgraded. Are you worried? I'm going to jump off the McLaren. Are you worried? Like, okay, so Red Bull built the fastest car. They spent more money. They overspent to get there. And now they're bringing upgrades that are moving it backwards. Like, why didn't they just keep the car that Max loved and says this is the best thing? It's simply beautiful to drive. Yeah. Well, if we want to jump on Max maybe not winning this race, no, I don't think I want to put $1,000 against Max Verstappen. But we didn't look at this last week or 2 weeks ago. Do we just look at the without Max Verstappen? And I'll jump right to it. I mean, let's go. We got the screen shared, so let's make sure we do this properly. Without Max Verstappen, Mike, there might come a week where without Max Verstappen doesn't exist anymore. We've been fortunate that he is so guaranteed to win every race that they have this category for us. Like at some point, they're going to say, no, we don't feel confident enough to take one of the drivers out. Just you pick a winner. Good luck. Well, so I like Lando at minus 120. Yeah. Lando to be in the top two. Top two finish. So why are we giving up 5 points? What do you get? What do you inherit over the top two? Someone else winning the race and Lando finishing second. So Max doesn't win, Charles gets both of them. Okay, you know what? For 5 points. For 5. No, because without Max, Lando still is. We're not saying P. I'm not saying exact P2. That's my point. Without Max, Lando is for 5 points. That's probably smart. It's probably smart. Okay. Well, it was a losing bet. Yeah. Let's not brush that under the rug, buddy. I'm off the schneid. I know. I make a whole segment about the nightmare. Maybe I've pulled you into my nightmare. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. And without Oscar in P3 anymore, which I think Oscar might have been the biggest threat to a Lando top two bet. Is Oscar takes his place now for all the reasons that I talked about on the hot pick. I think Oscar through tire degradation just doesn't compete overall in a Grand Prix with Lando. That's why I liked him on the one lap qualifying base. But I like that he's not right on his heels. I'm gonna put a star. Yeah, 30 seconds in, right? There is the only because there's a lot of gravel. I think we need to be more mindful on they are looser with flags in practice sessions. Like I've 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 caught myself in past Grand Prix weekends where I see, whoa, someone crashed and they threw out a red flag in practice. Well, they're a little bit looser with the flags in practice sessions. In the race, they want to keep it going. So the reason that I'm hesitant on it being a crazy race is everyone's very openly saying it's not an easy track to overtake. There's only the one DRS section, and it's that main straight, and then it's not really a hard braking zone into that first corner. You're going down a couple of gears. It's a high speed turn, so you're not really passing in that. So I don't know if guys aren't going for overtakes. Is there chaos? I'm not sure. Where do you want to take us? You like to look at yeah. Yeah. Okay, because I was about to put a big stop sign up there. I was going to give you the Heisman. That's what they're saying. Mm-hmm. So are you looking at like a George, or are you looking at like a Checo to go long? Where's your head going with that? Yeah, I don't. No, no, I don't, because I think Haas has shown their cards and their team strategies this year. So Hulkenberg qualified well. Magnussen didn't. Magnussen's going to be playing the team game again. He might go long because he's going to be 2 seconds off the pace and holding a train up and taking 30 seconds of penalties doing so that Hulk can get a free pit stop. Like I'd look at Hulk maybe if we want to be on a team to capitalize on a one-stop weird strategy where no one can overtake. Hulk is going to be the one to benefit there because K-Mag will back up the whole grid for him. He'll run both chicanes just to stay ahead of everyone. What you're in the groups? I came over here just to see what Checo, like top 6 Checo plus 110. That's maybe, does he get all the way up to the 6? He gets both Mercs effectively, right? Like and the RBs. Right. Yeah. 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 Would we not be used we'd be used to a plus 110 for like the Red Bull 1-2 with Checo in 11th. Yeah. I think that yeah, I think that's what yeah. Well, you know who I like. Well, sorry, go ahead. Yes. I think so. I also think Checo, this is subjective, my opinion. He's the kind of guy that is going to think he needs to get both RBs in turn one. Otherwise, he's going to get stuck. His post qualifying, he said, it's hard to overtake here. I don't know what I'm going to be able to do. So mentally, I think he goes into this race saying, I got to get 4 cars in turn one. Otherwise, I'm going to get stuck back here. And he probably causes us chaos. I'm not sure I want to be on Checo. Having said all the things you did about chaos and F2 having safety cars and this and that, are you 100% against a 2-car bet? I didn't do it as my hot pick. I should have. I haven't even looked at the odds, but where I'm going with this is I think we've got, if the odds justify it, opportunity on the RBs to have both cars in the points. Let's see what the odds are. So you don't love it. You don't love it. Well, let's see. I mean, they're the tipping point. Okay, so your hesitation is the 2-car bet. Is anyone live here? Someone back me up. We have no one in the nobody's here. Nobody's here. So I need someone to back me up here. Your hesitation is the fact that it's 2-car bet, not anything about the pace of the RBs having the capability to have both cars in the points. Right. Uh-huh. I hear you. I mean, any follower of this show has heard you for hours talk about how you hate 2-car bets. What about this? It was minus 110 for both. I mean, you can get minus 188 and you're only taking Danny. Mm-hmm. I feel more confident about Yuki, but I was just pitching 2 cars, so that included both of them. Well, yeah, Checo can. Well, okay, I don't know about that. I don't think you can say the word probably there. Maybe. That's probably the battle for 10. Because I don't think Ocon on pace, like something might happen where Ocon could be the one that goes 56 laps on hards. I don't know. Stroll probably has the pace to do it, but the Aston hasn't looked great, and then he crashes. And then your Albon, Gasly, both, like, no one is really a threat for the 10. Checo will be there, can be there. And then it kind of comes down to Rick versus Hulk, assuming the Mercs stay ahead. Like, I don't know. I know. But Yuki, yeah. I think the RB is different. This is a different RB, though. Is that fair to say? He might be. Is he still in the works, in the mix for Checo's seat? I keep seeing reports like De Vries is just not getting a seat. So, or not De Vries. Liam Lawson is just not getting a seat. No, we need him to finish P2, Mike, and it's close. It's gotten close in the standings. We need Max to start winning races again. Yeah. 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 You know what? Sorry. Oops. I'll put a mark down. It may be not a star, but I'm just gonna jot it. Rick points. What was the group? I kind of overlooked the groups on you. You threw out a group. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Let's go drivers and then we'll go teams. Drivers, I think there's rarely value on the drivers. Not driver markets. No, you want to do teams first? Yeah, the drivers suck. Drivers are just teammates against each other, and I have a hard time picking that. Ferrari, McLaren. I don't think I'd want to pick it. No. No, I don't think I'd want to. Me too. Yeah. I like Oscar to maybe come through. What did do you have any race pace on the RBs versus the Mercs? Like, is that something that we want to look at? The Merc is still. Mm-hmm. And then who do they have Haas up against the Alpine? Do they have Haas against RB? No. I mean, 162 is a number that really means nothing, but 162 is a number that's done well for us for whatever reason. We win 162s. I don't think I want to bet on Alpine. No. In fact, I know I don't. How about bet 365 being a little sneaky, not having Piastri's penalty here? People can see this on the screen? No, I'm not scrolled that high. Yeah. He's still P2. Yeah, bet on him. He's P2. Let's go to the groups. Well, they choose what teams they match against each other, and they've done well this week. Okay, Group 1, we already have investment on Lando, so I don't think we need to look at that. I forget what you said, so let me get there. Let's see if we find it. Group 2, no. Group 3, well, did you like Yuki in Group 3? That's what you said. Okay. Mm-hmm. He's got to battle Lewis behind him. You can just imagine how stressful he's going to be in the cockpit. And he just has to go get Yuki. Yeah. And I do like the Lando top 2. Mm-hmm. Ocon. You just take Ocon. It's such a sour taste to bet on Ocon and the Alpines. 163. Because he's got Lance Stroll holding off the other 3 guys in his group between them. On a track like this, where it is hard to overtake, there's one DRS that's pretty long straight. Is this an Albon bottleneck? Like, is this a Williams bottleneck scenario? Right. No, you're right. The concern is post race hindsight. Everyone's like, "What happened with Alpine?" And now Ocon's pissed, and somehow Gasly got the preferred strategy out of nowhere, and they didn't know what they were doing. That's a very Alpine thing. Yeah, but yeah, well, that value difference is because it's an Alpine. Yeah, maybe. You're right. It's not like 2022 where the Alpine was blowing up. Yeah. Yeah. Were they were the was it Bonotto that said I'd rather build a fast engine than make it reliable than build a reliable. Well, they went opposite. No, Alpine built like it was fast at the time, but it couldn't stay apart. No, never mind. Never mind. I don't know. Alpine's just slow. Yeah. I'm gonna I'm gonna write. Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't hate this the way that I don't hate this the way that I hated some of the things you pitched last week that I didn't combat. Like this is it's literally just it's Alpine, and I don't like Alpine, so yeah. Yeah, no, I told myself I had to. I wrote it down. I wrote it down. Um the driver. Why can't I find it? Sometimes I'm so bad at finding these things. And Alonso said the weekend. I forget. Paraphrase. He's like the weekend's over. He's like, yeah, it's weekend's Grand Prix weekend's done. I know, like a lion. Hmm. Yeah, I think he was. I think he was close to the points even, like potentially minus money for the points. Stroll. Yeah. Right. Hmm. Yeah, you realize you just pitched an Ocon followed up by a Stroll. Like you're just give me a spoonful of sugar for this shit. I'm not because there's a lot to look to like about it. Are you concerned that Stroll and Ocon start right beside each other and potentially now we have a bet on both of them? Mm-hmm. Well, there's a number of reasons to like it. There's less factors. Yeah, it's only one other car you have to beat. There's more positions between them. Yeah, more grid spots. Teammates. I think that inherently helps this. That maybe there is team orders like, hey, Fernando. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. He said what you yeah, but you got to take a grain of salt. Bring the car home. Get some data. Yeah. -1. Did it move? I thought you said 188. I like this better than the Ocon. Well, okay. Maybe it's not these three. We still got time. But if it were these three, we've got a bet at the top two. We've got a bet at 10th. And then we've got a bet where they're not going to be in the points, but we're just saying, hey, one guy finishes ahead of the other at the backfield, which I like. I like having them mixed. Yeah, well, yeah, combo podiums. Let's just see if there's anything that we can hedge or half hedge. When we got something involving the top two, people probably go if anyone watches and they're like, it's right there, click on it. There it is. You scroll past it. Yeah. Okay, Lando and Charles together could happen. Is there a Charles and Carlos? No. What? Just like give us that one. That's the one I want. Both Ferraris won't be there. Max and Lando. Oh, Max and Oscar, yes. Yeah. Oh, they start right there. Mm-hmm. Right. Well, I think the purpose of this. Well, that's what I was gonna say. The purpose of us coming here is to hedge the Landers. So who's the biggest threat to Lando's P2? Is it Oscar? Yeah. And he dropped 3 places. Well, okay, so think about this. He's racing against one Ferrari, really. right? Because the McLarens and the Ferraris will pair off respectively in their strategies. Like Lando and Charles will pit together, and then it'll be Oscar and Carlos racing each other, or vice versa. If there's a pass in turn one, I don't know. Like, does this help us, Oscar and Charles? Yes. So something happens to Lando. Is that then the most? Yeah, like not saying, oh, Lando's not on the podium, so that's how we hedge it. We say the other two cars got to the podium. With this one, yes. I was looking at Max and Oscar. Then you can win both. But this has less hedging to it. No. Well, if Lando comes out, then you're relying on Oscar to get one of those Ferraris, which I think the McLaren has in it. I think they're a step ahead of the Ferraris this week. I think they were faster for most of the weekend. They looked great in qualifying. We're coming off the race where they were dominant. And if Oscar was P2, you're looking at it like those Ferraris aren't getting the McLarens. I think the only reason we're debating the Ferraris staying there is because Oscar got this penalty. Like, if it was McLaren, and then two Ferraris, it'd be like, oh, it's a double podium. Right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a timestamp to it. Well, the race is in an hour. Like, we should know the weather by now, right? Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Specifically, or Oscar. Like, if we're hoping, you know what, and my whole thing with Oscar is he can defend. He can't attack. He loses his tires when he has to attack. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's move off the Oscar combo then. Does this make sense? The Lando Charles to not be there together. Now this, if it goes chalk, this loses. But if it goes chalk, we win the Lando top two. Are we worried? Like, do we want to protect ourselves against Lando crashing? Really? Does that matter? Is that important to us? I think like, for the record, I think I'd be okay with these three. I don't think I need to be like, oh, Lando, something's gonna happen. No, let's not forget Max took damage last week, 2 weeks in Miami, right? Like, everyone wants to go, oh, Lando, yeah, the safety car restart, and then Lando pulled away. Well, Max had damage. Okay, let's not forget about that. Max, yeah, he's got to be so frustrating for the other 19 guys. Like, are we finding intrinsic value? No. These are what we're used to seeing with him. There's no added value here. Like, do we want an ancillary like flyer type thing where we? No, I don't mind them either. Well, okay. Does this look at the screen share? Does this give you an indication of where the book C favorite podium is chalk? The next is both McLarens. Does that change your mind at all about anything? Like, what should we like? What's Oscar podium? Yeah, what's Oscar podium? It's not a lot of value. No. Well, here, actually, no. You love these. Let's see. Let's look at this just for you. Both cars podium finish. 200. um, most team points. Now Red Bull got it in Miami, even though Lando won, but Checo was up there. 125. They're even odds, but not a lot of value. No, and it's so much math for pre-race to try to figure out where everyone has to finish. Okay, so Max, we're gonna do it. So Max gets 25 for winning. Lando gets 18 for P2. The Ferraris get 15 and 12, so they're sitting at 27. Max has 25, so the Ferraris would be winning. Oscar, if he stays at P5, gets 10. So Lando and Oscar's 28, so they would have more than Ferraris. Max has 25, so Checo needs 3 points. 10th is 1, 9th is 2, 8th is 4. So Checo to P8 and Max winning. Red Bull gets the most points. With Lando and Oscar in 2 and 5. If Oscar goes up, then I think it's a McLaren most points. And if Lando wins, then it's McLaren both points. So if Lando's P2, that's 18. P4 is 15, 12, so that's 30. Max has 25 for the win. Fastest lap could have an effect. So then it's 1, 2, 4, 6. Checo P7. If Oscar gets one place up to 4th. He probably finishes 6th. He probably gets the McLaren. He probably gets the Mercedes. He gets the RBs, and then he sits behind the Ferraris and Red Bulls, or the Ferraris and the McLarens. I think that's what his pace. So that's what his pace should determine. But on Imola, I'm not sure he could do that. Like, he just might not have the opportunity to overtake. But even if you could overtake, I'm not sure he gets past the Ferraris and the McLarens, even on a good day. 6. Okay, so we give him Max the fastest lap, so 26. And then they get 18, 15, 12, 10, 8 for 6th. So 26 and 8 is 34. Lando would get 18 for 2. No, and so 2-3 doesn't even make it. 18 and 15 is 33. And I just said the Red Bulls had 34 with that fastest lap. But even without the fastest lap, a tie goes to the guy that finishes the highest. So Checo getting to 6 and Max winning. Red Bull gets most points. Well, I think that's why they're equal odds. They're like, okay, I don't think we want to do a coin toss then. Let's just move off it. We gave that a lot of airtime. Or is this what are you trying to convince yourself? Because I think I'm trying to convince myself that we should take the Red Bull because they're not the favorite for a week. And there's overreaction with Checo in 11th. There's overreaction that Lando just won last week, even though Red Bull still got the most points there. And I don't think people are considering enough that Max took damage. And that is a big part of why Lando won. Right. Well, okay, so okay, we don't bet on Doomsday, but last week McLaren had the race-winning car. Where did Oscar finish? That's actually why, to counter myself, that's why Red Bull got the most points. I was working off a smug. It was a smug comment from Max where he's like, "Yeah, they were like, oh, tough weekend." He's like, "Well, we still got most points, so if that's a tough weekend, that's fine." In hindsight, yeah, but Oscar crashed, so you didn't deserve most points. Right. Okay. All right. Well, no, and it's not. Yeah, it's not a great like 125. Yeah. We went through the groups. Position. Both got the sniffles. Carlos Fines. Carlos Fines. I am John Rum. I would, if it was fifth or worse, I would take a look at it. I don't think George, like, no one gets him into sixth unless he does something to himself. Oscar. Like, okay, so I know we've had weekends where we're heavy on McLaren. I get it. But if we're looking for a flyer, like the $50, $100 at the end of the ticket, it's like, hey, he qualified P2, got a penalty. All he's got to do is go get those Ferraris. Does this finish where it's like Max is the best, and then the McLarens were the best car, and then the Ferraris, and then the Mercs, and then the RBs? Like, we've seen a lot of races where they just settle themselves out. Imola's tough to work itself out because there's no overtaking, less overtaking. But is that worth like a, hey, at plus 550, we threw it on the card to say, yeah, McLaren's real and Oscar gets those places back? Because what was he for the podium? 125 or something? That's a lot of extra value. Yeah, okay. I had the same reservation. I had the same reservation. Okay. For top six. Whoa. Man, I like this a lot. I'm not sure he finishes ahead of Yuki. Not to mention the risk of a Checo coming through and taking one of those spots. The counter, devil's advocate, is any sort of chaos gives Lewis inherits places. True. And they're alluding that no, they're saying he does finish and Checo doesn't. I'm reading that the wrong way. So they're saying he's more likely to get to the top six than Checo. No. No. This is the no. Top six finish. More likely that Lewis is not top six than Checo not top six. Yeah. They're saying Checo gets him. Am I confused? I'm confusing people. Yeah. I kind of maybe like this a lot. We don't usually look at the fades of a finishing position. Oh, do the nose, are they usually not out when we record? Interesting. Okay. No, I like this one. Yeah. Right. But Checo's going for it from behind. Checo's the guy that starts in sixth and he's like, I got to make it all happen and get on Max's gearbox right now. Otherwise, I'm never going to have and then he crashes. Charles and Carlos have been keeping it clean in turn ones. And Lando will go, he'll go wide. He'll drive the wrong way to avoid a crash. Yeah, fuck. Do we want to go back to an Oscar? One of those guys is going to be on the podium. Okay, that's 4 bets. Okay. Danny Ricciardo has even odds with him? It's not first lap. There's another one. Driver to retire first lap? No. First driver to retire. Well, okay, they're so long. Yeah. Why Danny, though? And, well, Yuki makes sense. Do we take him off? Is that a reason to take him off? That he's the favorite to retire first? Like, do we just say, okay, Vegas, we hear you. We won't jump in that pool today. Like, we're not going to go against you. We're not going to argue with you. We're just, okay, we won't go in. Yeah, coming off the fact that you just discovered the same line, a minus 188 that we kind of like. And then we go to the book and the book says, well, that other one, we think he's most likely to come out of the race. So, yeah. And we like 3 bets. And then I'll flick it back up there. Do we want to just $50 on Oscar P3? No, that was the 550. That was value. But I was going to say the problem with that is it doesn't help. Like if Lando goes out, then Oscar's not third. Or maybe he is. Maybe he is. If Lando goes out, then Oscar is third probably. Charles and then Oscar. I think he gets one of the Ferraris at least. And I think he probably gets both. He won me a bet. And if we want to take a step back, if it was anyone other than McLaren, I think we wouldn't have this reservation of like, hey, we seem to be on McLaren a lot. They're the ones that are upgrading their freaking car and it's working. So not like, okay, sorry, we're on the car that is getting better week to week. And 2, on a high level, when we started this show, we got a guy that qualified P2 and then got hit with a grid penalty. That's generally just high level. That's kind of the opportunities we typically try to look for. To finish third. Well, and also, I don't know. No, that's to finish third. And then you go finishing position. But why is this a thing? Finishing position, Oscar Piastri, 553rd. But then to finish third. So like, when you do the post, make sure you make that, like I think you did last time too, but like not the to finish third. Go to finishing position. Like, do you like money? Because they're gonna give you an extra $200. Finishing third plus 550, and then Rick is out. Like Rick's a fan favorite, but he's most likely to come out of this race first. So. And you know what? It's rarely his fault. When he broke his wrist last year, that wasn't his incident, really. There should have been flags 2 corners earlier to let him know. Who just Oh, yeah, the tire bounced. Yeah, and hits his rear wing. Yeah. Yeah. And then Lance takes him out. Yeah. He's a magnet. No. All right, we're up against an hour. I think that was I like these 4, and race is starting soon. So let's have a discussion about the money. Shortest is Lando. Most favorited, most likely. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Top 2. Lewis is the shortest to not be in the top 6. Then it's Stroll versus Alonso. Let's make sure. Wait, we gained value on that? Did something happen? Let's just do like Alonso news. He's starting from the pit lane as of an hour ago. The pit lane. You said that and it went over my head. He's not starting, like, he's in the pit lane. Okay. But Stroll has 63 laps to get into some trouble. That's literally. What's his like DNF? Or is there better lines to just say he won't DNF instead of that he'll beat his teammate? That's effectively what we're betting. He survives the race. Classified finisher? That's probably where we need to look, right? Hey, this is Lance Stroll we're talking about. The Vegas watches. To be classified. Lance Stroll, now 800. Okay, so we're getting great value on effectively the same thing. Yeah. All right. Minus 138. That moved like that. Nobody looks at it. No. So odds aside, I feel the best about the Lando bet. Yeah. Do we just do 3 and 1? Or do you think one's too much on the Oscar? Okay, give me 350 on the Lando then. 350, 3 and 1? Or in 50? I think once you're in the threes with these odds, like winning one of them will cover losing another one. So you're hoping for two out of the three. Okay. 630 profit. So we're basically. Oh yeah, no, never mind. 300 profit. Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. You gotta hit two out of these three to make profit. Yeah, yeah, and then we profit. Yeah, yeah. I like that. Assuming that Charles takes Lando's spot and then Oscar, because I still think we're betting on Oscar to get one of those Ferraris, and then this kind of protects, something Lando not being there. Right. There's also a scenario here where McLaren surprises everybody and is the fastest race car, but Oscar has too much work to do to get Max, and it's like a Lando Max Oscar finish. That's a scenario that exists. Okay. Lock it in. So Lando's got the 350. Stroll over Alonso's 300. Lewis top six, no, it's 300, and then Oscar finishing position third gets $50. That's the show. Thank you for tuning in. I like that we're live. We had a few people stop in and check it out for a few seconds. So next time, stick around for a little longer, Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. We will be back. Monaco. Next week, F1000. Go to the OBS.